Can you share your Australia journey? When and why did you migrate to Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. So I came here in 2018, June, July. It's almost nearly 5 years now, and there were quite a few reasons that I came to Australia, and to be able to share that, I had to reflect, what, why I came to Australia. So I still remember, when I went from one of my districts of Nepal, which is called the Sirha. It's beautiful. From Sirha to when I moved to Kathmandu for my higher education. That's when I realized that how important it is to grow personally, and I learned a lot of things. When I moved from Sirhat to Kathmandu, I didn't even know how to speak Nepali, so there was like a huge personal growth I had to overcome. And I realized in that 7 years, till I graduated my bachelor's, I did Bachelor of Business Administration. That's when I realized that, okay, how much I had grown, in that 7 years. And after that, soon after my bachelor's, I realized that I need an environment where I can grow more than that, like, where I can grow like globally. And that's when I was thinking to choose countries outside Nepal, and Australia was one of them, definitely. And I still remember that's when I met a few of my friends, college friends. Most of them are in Australia at the moment. So we almost came in similar time. And that's why I came here. Apart from that, I had some other reasons as well. Some of the reasons was I always wanted to take my family lifestyle into the different level, because as the man of the house, I wanted to provide and to protect them. And I thought that, okay, if I can go and learn in the global environment, if I can become better, then they will receive better benefit from me. So that's why I came here, because I was always ambitious. I always wanted to do something, because I still remember after my 10th grade, I went to Kathmandu, and I learned a lot of things. I met the different kind of people. I learned language. I learned English a little bit. And there was a lot of changes in me. So that's when I wanted to go somewhere I can be in the global environment. And I think Australia was perfect for me at the time. Yeah.
What was your main language you spoke in Nepal?
Well, when I was born, I was speaking Maithili, so that was my mother language, mother tongue. I was very good at it, but soon after I realized that when I went outside that, I needed to learn some different kind of language. Not bragging, but I can speak 5 languages now. But I
Oh,
had
that's
to
great.
go through a lot of changes. Yeah, a lot of
What are those
changes
five
in
languages?
that period of time.
Yeah, what are those five
Well,
languages?
I can speak, Maithili. I can speak
Okay,
Nepali, our national language. I can understand and speak Bhojpuri as well, and
okay.
definitely and Hindi as well, because that we grew up that way,
Yeah,
listening and
in the
watching
border
Hindi
of
Bollywood
India, yeah.
movies. Yes, absolutely, and definitely English. So those are 5 languages I can speak. But yeah, that was actually one of the major challenges when I moved to Kathmandu, because I had to overcome to become, and I had to learn that, and I'm really good at it now.
Okay, that's great. You know five languages. Like I only know three languages: Hindi, Nepali, and English. Okay, you migrated to
Okay,
Australia. You migrated to Australia as a student?
yes, I came here to study my master's degree. It's Master's of Professional Accounting. Yeah.
Okay. Master of Professional Accounting, that's a great source. What suggestion do you want to give to those students who are studying or planning to study Master of Professional Accounting in Australia? What are its scope?
Well, Srishti, the reason I chose, a Master's of Professional Accounting, we call it an MPA here. And the reason I chose MPA, because I studied Bachelor's of Business Administration back home. And it was related to my bachelor's degree. So I could easily, get into the study mode and do that. And when it came to accounting, I was passionate about it, because I used to be an accounting teacher back home. I used to teach, students, school students, and even I like undergraduate students as well. So I was passionate about numbers. I was passionate about accounting and finance. So that's what I chose, MPA for that matter. And I chose that because I wanted to be a number guy, definitely, and take some analysis and do some advice out of that. But yeah, that's that. But talking about accounting in Australia, there is a good prospect of accounting in Australia, in my opinion, because when I was looking to do the job after graduation, I could get one easily. Have that I had to develop some skills that Australian market needs. If I talk about next in few years, in my opinion, I think it's still going to increase. The number of jobs from accounting is still going to increase, because I was reading an article and it says that in executive level of accounting, most of the people are baby boomers. The people who were born like between 1940s to 1960s and mid 60s. Those are people are still in executive level, and those people are going to retire in next 10 years, right? So think about that. There will be a lot of job prospect of that matter. And even at this moment, there are a lot of recruiters and a lot of employers that reach me directly via LinkedIn or email. That means the job market is there, outlook is there. But even though the job market is there, I think that it's good to have the interest in accounting, and you being passionate of accounting. And when you think about studying the accounting, it's always about whether you want to make a career out of it or not. Why are you studying that? Because what are you studying, you will figure it out. But it's very important to understand the why part. Why am I studying? What will happen after that? Whether I'll be able to make a career out of it or not. So it's very important to find your own interest. If you are passionate about numbers, and if you are passionate about helping other clients or not. So it really depends, Srishti.
That's great to know. Like accounting has a huge field. That's good. What was your first job, Bhupesh, in Australia, and what's your profession right now?
Okay, Srishti, that's an interesting question, because when I landed in Australia, it was different, completely different for me. I was expecting that if I go to Australia, I'll have very good lifestyle, a very good um, environment. I mean, everything will be rosy, right? But it's not like that, because a lot of things were different. I still remember my first job was I was working as a kitchen assistant, the catering project.
Okay.
So that was my first job. I used to work night shift overnight, and I used to come home, take shower, and then go to college, study, and then come back, sleep a little bit, and then again go to work. So that was the days. But currently, I'm in a position of I work as a tax accountant full time. So
Okay.
it's full time job, 9 to 5. I work as a tax accountant. And yeah, from that journey to here, there were a lot of things I had to unlearn and relearn. There are a lot of things I had to overcome, language wise, like environment wise, culture wise. Yeah, that's where I'm now.
That's great to know. Like you have reached to the huge achievement till now, like from the first job till now. Do you think there was any turning point in your life here in Australia?
Like 5 years, nearly 5 years, there were a lot of things that I had to overcome. One of the main realization when I was in Australia was I was working in different blue collar jobs. I didn't put
Okay.
any jobs down, but I didn't came Australia for that for doing the job. I always wanted a good job. I always wanted a good lifestyle out of it, not just a job, but good lifestyle. From Australia. So, but I was stuck in that blue collar jobs. Let's say going to college, coming home, sleep, eat, and again go to work and come home. So at some point of time, what I realized was I had to focus on personal growth. Like I had to grow from internally, because only doing assignments, going to work was not enough for me. So I realized that if I studied some of the successful people, and I saw that okay, they are successful because they became better version of themselves. So rather than just focusing on how I can work extra, how I can do more work, I started focusing on how I can grow myself. Because I learned in that my turning point was, if I become better myself, I don't have to chase other things. So I just started focusing on my personal growth, and I started reading books. I started reading good books that would help me, like mentally, to move forward, just to build the mental muscle. That was the point. I also started to listening to few podcasts, like few of the successful podcasts, entrepreneur podcast, some of the podcast of CEOs, senior manager level. So that changed my thinking that okay, rather than working hard, I got to be working smart. So focusing on that personal growth was was the turning point in Australia. And that's when I started building network as well, because once I realized, okay, the things that I'm doing now, if I don't change, the results are going to be similar. And I realized that when I was in third semester, I was very frustrated about, Australia, like, why I'm not growing, what I can do more. And that's when I started focusing, and I started developing just a network, like, like-minded people, just a professional people, so that I could learn from them. Because they say that, right? If you want to be a doctor, you better associate with the doctor, right? So that's what I started doing. I started associating with the like-minded people, and I learned from them a lot, from their experience. So that focusing on myself, like my growth, was one thing that changed the whole game. And I think I still have to learn a lot. There is a lot of journey. And you said that, perfect position at the moment. Well, it's a good one. I'm really grateful for that. But I think our next 3, 4, 5 years is going to be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Off camera, we have discussed about the importance of having mentor in our life. What was the role of having mentor in your personal and professional life?
Wow, Srishti, this is huge. Actually, I just spoke about, developing having the network in a professional, world, like with like-minded people. I still remember, I was looking for someone to guide me, because I was living with my friends. They were amazing people. I was sharing very good bond. I still love them, care them. But when it came to personal growth and taking a financial decisions, especially the long-term decisions, I needed someone to guide. And that's when, I found my mentor. I was trying, I was going to events, I was going to like professional events, and finding, just if I can get like just 15 minutes, if I can get half an hour, that will be the great personal growth inside me. So
Yeah.
that's when I met, few of the people that were in Australia. They gone through the journey that we would still be going. And that's a beauty of mentor, like, the journey that we are going to walk, they have already walked the path, right? and
Yeah.
and that's when I understood that, okay, I can learn from my own experience. That would be smart, but I need to be wise here. I need to be learning from other people as well. So that's when I met, mentor, and it changed my life. I'm really grateful to have them. I respect their time. I respect their effort, and I had to be serious as well to get their time, because the people, if they are going to mentor us, it's also important that we have to be serious and we have to respect their time. So I took their time very seriously. I learned that, okay, I learned from their experience, and they're guiding me in like 360 degree of life. And I think having a mentor is a blessing in life, and that changed me. So if someone asks me, Bhupesh, how did you grow? How did you take some good decisions? That I would say it's not me; it's their brain. I was just humble to learn. I was just growth oriented. I thought that, okay, I don't know all, so I'm not I know it all, guys. So I had to learn from somewhere. So, and that's when mentor came into my life and help out.
You told that you came in Australia in 2018. In 2019, there was a COVID pandemic period. How was your COVID journey? Were you in Australia?
Yes, I was in Australia. So I was thinking of going to back home after my graduation. I graduated in around June, July 2020. I was planning to go there, but because of COVID, didn't happen. I was here. There was lockdown going on, but yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, our farm was still open, so we were still, working. And in that period of time, that was tough time in Australia. And that's when I realized that, okay, I had to be mentally very strong. And you might know that, Srishti, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, they lost their lives, family members, and so on. That was very difficult times, and it was not easy, because when I was communicating home, they had similar fear. That's when I had to be very mentally strong and guide them, as well as, guide me as well, because that was a tough time, and we had to handle ourselves. So yeah, that was difficult times, but with the books and audios I go through, that was really helpful, because that made me strong. That, okay, there are a lot of people, that they're going through that, but it is us who can control, like, how we perceive this, COVID thing. So yeah, that's when I had to take care of my health. I had to take care of, like, mental health, and again, the job as well. At the same time, family. So that was not easy period, but I think that was one of the great lessons in life. And Srishti, if we reflect on like COVID, I think there are a lot of things we can learn. Just having the importance of of health was one of the things that I realized. Having the importance of being with the family was another thing I realized from the COVID. And in that period, I still remember being able to be financially stable in those difficult times was also another realization that I realized, because a lot of people lost their jobs. Fortunately, I was working at the time, but I realized that okay, it's good to have a like an emergency account and like a saving account. So those things I realized in that difficult period. But yeah, I think it gave us a lot of learnings overall.
That's good to know. Bhupesh, what suggestion do you want to give to those students who wants to migrate in Australia and make a career in accounting field?
Well, Srishti, as I spoke, it's very important to have the long-term vision of making a career out of accounting, because if you are studying accounting, then it's also important to be interested in numbers, be interested to talk to clients, make them suggestions. Currently, I do like 70% of the work is like compliance and 30% is like advisory. So it's very important to understand the numbers as well as the advisory part of it, like the suggestion part of it. Now, when it comes to making a career out of it and the scope of it, as I said, the jobs are increasing. A number of jobs in accounting are increasing, but we need to understand that okay, whether it is our interest of studying accounting or not. So it's very important, because after graduation, what's going to happen? I think what I suppose is that if we are studying accounting, then we are supposed to get a related field job, right?
Yeah.
So it's very important. So that's what I would say. Just find, if you are looking to make a career out of it, and do some market research. That's what I did. The closest study related to my bachelor's degree was Masters of Professional Accounting. So I did that, and after that, because I had interest in accounting, I went and pursued the similar kind of people. I met them, and I also improved myself to get into the corporate field in Australia. So yeah, do some little bit of research and see what will happen in 2-3 years. But now, if I talk currently, job situation of accounting, it's really good. It's booming. So it's nice.